Hey everyone, I am Rashad K, and this is They Forgot About Us, a true crime podcast that tells the stories of murdered and missing African American women, men, and children. On this episode of They Forgot About Us, I tell the story of Rasheem Carter, a 25-year-old man who went missing in Laurel, Mississippi on October 2nd, 2022. On that day, Rasheem spoke with his mother and told her he was being chased by white men in 3 trucks. That was the last day Carter's family heard from him. Before I tell this story, I want to apologize to any of the listeners who have been waiting for an episode. The last episode was about 3.5 weeks ago that my sister did. I've been going through some things personally, so I took a break. But I promise to stay consistent, so from now on, every episode will be uploaded on Monday mornings. This will be the last time I upload an episode just randomly. Rasheem Carter was born on October 28, 1996, to Tiffany Carter and Robert Fry. He was a 2015 graduate of Jefferson County High School, where he was a star football and baseball player and a member of the Fayette Kappa League. Rasheem also graduated from Hines Community College in 2016 with a degree in welding and cutting technology. In August of 2019, Rasheem opened his first business, Callie's Express, named after his daughter, but he had to shut his restaurant down during the pandemic. Rasheem Carter worked as a millwright for Clements Mechanicals at the local Georgia Pacific Company in downtown Taylorsville, Mississippi. Tiffany Carter, Rasheem's mom, said that he was saving money to reopen his restaurant. But Rasheem's car had broke down in September of 2022, so he would get rides from co-workers 20 miles back and forth from Taylorsville to the Super 8 Hotel in Laurel, where he was staying with the other co-workers. On October 1st of 2022, Rasheem caught a ride with his roommate, but they got into an argument, he would later tell his mother. The information I found does not say what the argument was about. Rasheem got out of the car and started walking the 20 miles to Taylorsville. While on foot, some co-workers picked him up and drove him to the Family Dollar store in Taylorsville. When he got there, Rasheem called his mother, Tiffany Carter, and told her he needed a ride from Taylorsville to her house in Fayette, more than 100 miles away in Jefferson County. While in the store, Rasheem told his mother that someone had called the Family Dollar and asked if he was inside. Rasheem told me that he left the dollar store when he heard the clerk say, "He's in here." Tiffany Carter recalled he said that he was being followed by 3 trucks filled with racist white men trying to kill me. He also said that these men were calling him racial slurs. Rasheem sent his mother a detailed text about his concerns for his safety. He named someone in his text that he believed was threatening him. This person was in a position of authority at his workplace, and Rasheem and the person were not getting along. The text message he sent to his mother read, "If anything happens to me, he is responsible for it. I'm too smart, mama. He got these guys wanting to kill me." The Jackson Advocate reported that Rasheem worked a 9-hour shift in Taylorsville and was trying to find a ride back to the Super 8 motel. His co-worker and roommate said he couldn't ride with him no more. Rasheem went to a junior food market downtown and offered people gas money for a ride, but no one would take him. Rasheem went to the Taylorsville police station and asked if they had an Uber service or if they could take him back to the hotel. They said they could only take him somewhere in Taylorsville. No one knows where Rasheem slept that night on October 1st. Rasheem returned to downtown Taylorsville on October 2nd, and at 5:50 a.m., his phone was dying and he needed a charger. He went to the police station again that morning. After leaving the police station, Rasheem went to the Family Dollar where he called his mother at 10:15 a.m. His phone was at 1%. He told her he couldn't get a ride to his motel, and she agreed to send someone to pick him up. Rasheem dropped his pen at his location, and Rasheem's aunt, Marnie Tompkins, spoke to the Jackson Advocate and indicated that the conversation between Rasheem and Tiffany about his co-workers, where he said, "If I come up missing, there are 3 trucks of white men after me." Tiffany sent her friend Aisha Green to pick Rasheem up, but it took her several hours to drive there. She arrived in Taylorsville between 1:30 and 2 p.m. and couldn't find him at his pinned location. She waited for him at a gas station and drove to several stores looking for him. She also went to his hotel in Laurel but couldn't find him. Tiffany reported Rasheem missing on October 2nd in Laurel, Mississippi. She told the police that he said there were 3 trucks full of white men who were trying to kill him, according to the Laurel police chief, Tommy Cox. The Laurel police started looking into Rasheem as a missing person. However, on October 7th, the Taylorsville police contacted Tiffany and told her they had searched for Rasheem but had not found him. On October 8th, Tiffany and her family started the Carter Family Support Search Team. They searched Taylorsville and passed out flyers. They were told no, they couldn't do that, but they allowed Tiffany to look through footage from October 2nd to October 8th. She recorded the video with her phone. The video shows Rasheem walking up the aisles and talking on the phone. He was recorded walking out of the store, but the outdoor footage had a limited view. He was walking in the direction of the police station. According to Marnie, some of the search group spoke to an officer who was cooperative until he said we were acting like he was trying to cover up something, per the Jackson Advocate. He was defensive until the family assured him they weren't accusing the police department of anything. The officer said that Rasheem came into the station and asked if they had an Uber service, and they said no. So he went outside and sat on a bench. According to the Jackson Advocate, on November 1st, Smith County Sheriff Joel Houston contacted Tiffany and asked if she could identify a man captured on a hunter's video camera in a wooded area south of Taylorsville. She confirmed the man in the video looked like Rasheem, so Rasheem was captured by a hunter's camera at 4:32 p.m. on October 2nd. According to Business Insider, Tiffany was only shown one image and not the entire footage. In the image, Rasheem is shirtless and carrying what looks like a large branch. The property owner shared the footage with the police when he discovered it in mid-October. Tiffany later told Business Insider that it looked like Rasheem was running for his life. She said, "You could see there were bruises on him. When I see that picture, I know my son was somewhere struggling, somewhere running for his life. I believe he was chased there." On November 2nd, 2022, human remains were found in a wooded deer park on Highway 37, a mile south of Taylorsville. Officials were led to this area because of the hunter's camera. These remains were identified as Rasheem Carter. Rasheem's skull and spinal cord were found in different places, which technically classified them as two sets of remains, according to ABC. Rasheem's remains were found about 30 yards away from where he was seen on camera. His wallet containing cards and cash, ID, jeans, keys, a vape, and a phone battery were found with his body, but his cell phone has not been found. The Smith County Sheriff's Office released the following statement. On Tuesday, November 2nd, 2022, the Smith County Sheriff's Department located the remains of Rasheem Carter just south of Taylorsville, Mississippi, in a wooded area. Thank you to the public who turned in information regarding Carter's whereabouts. At this time, we have no reason to believe foul play was involved, but the case is still under investigation. The remains were transported to the Mississippi Crime Lab for DNA confirmation. This is an ongoing investigation, and other agencies, including MBI and FBI, have assisted as well. All details have been given solely to the mother. In late November, Smith County Sheriff Joel Houston spoke to the Jackson Advocate and said they had followed up on leads but had no findings. After they received the camera footage of Rasheem, they brought in dogs that led them to the remains. That month, Joel Houston told the Vicksburg Daily News that Rasheem didn't say he was in danger when he went to the police station, and he didn't seem to be in distress. The police offered to let him use their phone, but Rasheem said he would use his phone. They offered him a charger, but it wasn't compatible. It had been reported that $500 was withdrawn from Rasheem's bank account on October 4th. His family said they didn't believe he was the one who withdrew the money. This happened 2 days after he was reported missing by his mother. Tiffany Carter told the Vicksburg Daily News that whoever drew that money out, the Smith County Sheriff's Department knows a time frame and when to check that footage. Tiffany had been going back and forth with Chime Bank to get them to release the card number to see where the money was withdrawn from. Sheriff Houston told the Vicksburg Daily News that it took a while to get the bank records back. They didn't know about the cash withdrawal until the first week of November. They obtained Rasheem's full Chime card number after they issued a search warrant. The last time the card was used was on August 13, 2022. In a later interview, Houston would attribute to this as a lag in paperwork and reporting. Sheriff Houston also addressed the family's claim that Rasheem heard a Family Dollar cashier say, "Yeah, he's in here." He said the cashier did not know of that, and I wasn't 100% sure what he meant by that. In December of 2022, the Natchez Trace reported that Taylorsville Police Chief Gabe Horn spoke with them and said Rasheem was seen on security footage in Taylorsville for 14 hours before he disappeared. He said that Rasheem made a report with the department but refused when he asked if he wanted to press charges. In December of 2022, Tiffany Carter spoke with local station WDAM and said Rasheem needed a ride back to Laurel, but the Taylorsville police wouldn't take him there. The Jackson Advocate reported that Rasheem was dismissed at the police station. Chief Gabe Horn told WDAM that they couldn't give Rasheem a ride due to staffing issues and liability concerns. On March 13, 2023, Rasheem's mother and family attorney, Ben Crump, held a press conference about his case. Crump at the March 13 conference said there is nothing natural about this. It screams out for justice. What we have is a Mississippi lynching. Crump said at the press conference that this was not a natural death. This represents a young man who was killed. He also released the findings of an independent autopsy. It was reported that Rasheem's head was severed from his body and that his spinal cord was found in a separate area. His front teeth were missing from the top and bottom rows, which could indicate he was assaulted. The autopsy report states that the condition of the remains made it difficult to determine the exact timing of the injuries. There were also signs of animal activity, which further complicated the exam. CNN reported that Ben Crump said that the autopsy from the state medical examiner's office found that Rasheem was dismembered. CNN obtained a copy and noted that the autopsy did not specify dismemberment, but the remains were found across a 2-acre area and was scavenged by animals. Crump also said at the press conference, according to ABC, that they have recently found remains that they believe are also Rasheem Carter at another part of where he went missing. Tiffany Carter spoke as well, saying, "My son told me that it was 3 truckloads of white men trying to kill him. And at the time that he told me as his mother, I had to think fast. So I told him to go to the police station because I felt in my heart they would serve and protect like they are obligated to do." Crump also said this doesn't seem like the act of just one individual. It kind of lines up with what Tiffany said. There was a lynch mob of 3 trucks chasing her son before he went missing. On March 14th, Smith County Sheriff Houston interviewed everyone involved with Rasheem's job, including 4 to 5 people he mentioned to his mother as potential threats. They were ruled out based on phone records and GPS coordinates that show their devices were almost 100 miles away from Taylorsville and another job site. Rasheem's colleagues and supervisor mentioned in interviews that he had not been himself for about a week. His demeanor had changed. He normally liked to joke around, but he stopped doing this and was keeping to himself. Sheriff Houston mentioned that the sheriff's department submitted a search warrant to Google to try to see if any devices pinged in the area where Rasheem's remains were found. They had been working on this since mid-November. According to CNN, Houston said there were no evidence to support the allegations that Rasheem was being chased by others. He told Insider that everything was still on the table, but they still had not found evidence of foul play. He said, "We are trying to rule out any possibility of anybody being present in his last time alive. The evidence we have right now is not showing anybody with him." Houston told Business Insider that they reviewed all of the hunter's camera footage and it does not show anybody else in the area with Rasheem. He addressed Tiffany's statement that it looked like Rasheem had bruises on his body and said that the bruises appeared to be shadows. In late March of 2023, Rasheem's former boss, Luke Clements, talked to News Nation to deny any involvement in his death. He said he had been targeted online and that he, his wife, and children received death threats. Later in March, the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation confirmed a forensic anthropology examination on February 2nd, 2023, and they could not determine the cause of death. The family and community held a protest on April 29, 2023, after they were notified that a third set of remains had been found and identified as Rasheem Carter. The Mississippi Crime Lab informed the family that the remains found in Smith County on February 23rd matched Rasheem's DNA. Ben Crump said in a statement that the family was notified through email and were not offered a meeting with officials. Crump also said that officials recanted their statement that no foul play was involved. Officials told the family that it was animals that killed Rasheem and then later admitted they believed he was murdered. A fourth set of remains were found on April 30th and identified as Rasheem Carter. At a press conference on May 11th, Crump said officials had notified the family of the four sets of human remains. A bystander filmed them and sent the video of the remains to the family. He said, per ABC, there is no excuse for bystanders coming and showing the video to the family and officials not having the dignity and respect to notify the family immediately and say we found more human remains in the vicinity where your son's head and spinal cord and other bodily remains were found. Tiffany said at the press conference, I am overwhelmed with the oppression that this state has caused in our lives. I want something done and I want it done immediately. I'm tired of waiting. I know I can't change what has happened, but we can make the change so that this doesn't happen to another family. Smith County Sheriff Houston told ABC that they stand behind their evidence and said they are not hiding anything from the family. In October of 2023, a year after Rasheem was reported missing, Tiffany Carter told ABC that they hadn't been updated on new developments for several months, and they had not received his remains. To this day, authorities have not determined a cause of death for the 25-year-old. Smith County Sheriff Joel Houston says the case has since been turned over to MBI and the FBI. It has been 2 years since Rasheem Carter's disappearance. His mother said every day for 730 days has been a struggle for me. We still need justice. There have yet to be any new developments or findings in this case. May Rasheem Carter rest in peace. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Instagram at They Forgot About Us Podcast. Please email us at theyforgotaboutus@gmail.com. Leave us a comment and give us a rating.